Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're tackling something I think pretty much everyone can relate to. The whirlwind of modern parenting.
Yeah, it's definitely a landscape that keeps shifting.
It really does. We've got this source material, hello and welcome to Speak English and no more 7-Up PDF. And it really paints a picture, doesn't it? You know, the constant battles over screens, trying to navigate social media.
Oh, yeah. The maze, as you called it.
Exactly. And then there's that juggling act. Work, family, trying to fit it all in.
And importantly, the source doesn't just focus on the kids, it talks about parental well-being, too.
Right, which is huge.
Yeah.
And, needing support. So our mission today isn't just to list off the problems. We want to dig in and find some actual practical stuff, strategies that hopefully make things feel a bit less overwhelming.
A bit more manageable, yeah. It's interesting how this source reflects just how much the digital age has added new layers. It's not the same challenges our parents faced, not entirely.
Totally different ballgame in some ways. Okay, so let's dive right into one of those big modern ones. Screen time. Ugh. It feels like a daily struggle for so many.
A constant negotiation.
Yeah. The source flags this as a major issue. But okay, set limits. Everyone says that.
Yeah.
Does the source give us more on, how? Because that's where I think people get stuck.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And yeah, the source does try to go a bit deeper. It's not just that you set limits, but maybe thinking about why.
Okay.
Like what gets pushed out when there's too much screen time, like, physical play, actual face-to-face chat, even just boredom, which is important for imagination.
Right, that downtime.
Exactly. So the strategies it mentions, getting kids moving, having screen-free zones like a dinner table or bedrooms, it's about making space for those other crucial things.
Makes sense.
And then there's a point that really stands out, parents modeling healthy screen use themselves.
Oof. That one hits home.
Doesn't it? It's like kids pick up on what we do way more than what we say sometimes. So our own phone habits, they're learning from that.
Guilty is charged sometimes.
We all are, probably. And finally, co-viewing. It's not just zoning out together. It's actually engaging with what they're watching, talking about it, turning it into a connection point instead of just isolation.
Okay, I like that framing, connecting instead of just controlling. That point about modeling, though, it makes you think about your own habits, which, isn't always comfortable.
Yep.
Now, the source also gets into something really vital, promoting positive body image and self-esteem. Gosh, in today's world with filters and comparisons everywhere, how does it suggest we build up that inner strength in kids?
Yeah, this is moving into their internal world, isn't it? The source talks a lot about modeling positive self-talk.
How we talk about ourselves.
Exactly. Kids soak that up. Those little comments we make about our own appearance, even unconsciously, that can become their inner voice.
Wow. That's powerful.
It is. And encouraging self-acceptance, that's about valuing them for who they are, not just how they look. Praising their effort, their kindness, things like that.
Right, the whole person.
Yeah. And it connects this to healthy habits, not framing it around weight, but around feeling good, feeling strong, having energy, well-being.
Shifting the focus.
Right. And a big piece seems to be open conversations, creating a safe space where they can actually talk about their insecurities or ask questions without feeling judged.
Just listening and validating, even if it seems small to us.
Precisely. Not dismissing it because it's not small to them.
So important, especially as they hit those teenage years, which, let's be honest, can feel like navigating a minefield sometimes. The source acknowledges these unique challenges. What kind of advice does it offer there?
Teenagers. Yes, it definitely requires a shift in approach. The source really stresses patience, empathy, trying to actually understand their world, which can feel pretty dramatic and intense.
Empathy is key.
And active listening. Not just hearing the words, but trying to get the feelings underneath, what's really going on.
Yeah, reading between the lines sometimes.
Definitely. And it talks about clear boundaries, not as authoritarian control, but as providing structure and safety when everything else feels like it's changing for them.
A stable base.
Exactly. And this is crucial, balancing that with encouraging independence, letting them try things, make some safe mistakes, learn from them.
It's a real balancing act.
It's a constant recalibration, I think, giving them room to grow, but still being that safety net.
That balancing act feels more like a clumsy stumble some days. Okay, so then the source pivots a bit to more practical day-to-day stuff, parenting hacks and tips. This is the kind of thing you can use tomorrow.
Right, the in-the-moment strategies.
Yeah. What does it say about handling, those epic tantrums?
Yes, tantrums. The advice starts with staying calm yourself. which is easier said than done, obviously.
Oh, tell me about it.
But trying not to match their energy with your own frustration. Then offering empathy, like, wow, you seem really angry right now. Acknowledging the feeling, even if the behavior isn't okay.
Validating the emotion.
Exactly. And giving choices, even small ones, like, do you want to wear the red cup or the blue cup? Can give them back a little sense of control when they're feeling overwhelmed.
Okay, choices. I like that.
But the source also seems to push for looking underneath the tantrum. What's the root cause? Are they tired, hungry, frustrated about something else, needing connection?
So playing detective a bit.
Yeah, being a feeling detective, not just a behavior police officer. Addressing the need often works better long term.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, and what about building healthy habits? That feels like a marathon.
It absolutely is framed that way. Long-term effort, and it comes back to modeling again, doesn't it?
Our actions speaking louder.
Yep.
If we're eating well and moving our bodies, kids see that as normal, even desirable. Encouraging physical activity, finding stuff they actually like doing, not forcing them into team sports if that's not their thing.
Making it fun.
Right. And just having healthy food options available and easy to grab, setting up the environment for success, basically. It connects all this to lifelong well-being, not just, looking a certain way now.
Right, it's a bigger picture thing. Okay, so we've got strategies, tips, but man, parenting can feel really lonely sometimes.
So isolating.
Yeah, the source brings up parenting stories and experiences. Why is hearing from other parents so important?
Oh, it's huge for building community.
Yeah.
It normalizes things, Makes you realize you're not the only one struggling with bedtime or picky eating or whatever it is.
Yeah, knowing you're not alone.
Exactly. Hearing someone else's story, how they handled something, might give you a new idea. Or just make you feel less like you're failing because everyone else seems to have it together, which they don't, by the way.
Good reminder. We're all just figuring it out. Pretty much. It cuts through that isolation.
And the source actually shares a specific story, right?
Yeah.
About a child with anxiety.
Yes. And the key takeaway from that anecdote seemed to be the parent learning just how crucial consistent empathy and patience are.
Consistency.
Yes. It wasn't about a magic bullet fix for the anxiety. It was about the parent just consistently being there, understanding, validating the child's feelings over time. That built a sense of security for the child.
So it's the steady presence.
Exactly. Sometimes the most powerful thing is just showing up again and again with that support.
That really underscores the emotional heart of it all. Which leads nicely to the final section in the source, building strong relationships. What does it boil down to? What are the core ingredients there?
Well, it really boils down to being intentional about connection. The source highlights prioritizing quality time. And that's not just being in the same room on your phone.
Uh-oh. Guilty again.
It's about being truly present with them, engaged.
Okay. Quality over just quantity sometimes.
Maybe. Or quality within the quantity you have. An active listening, again, really hearing them, their feelings, validating them, even if you disagree.
Making them feel heard.
Hugely important. And then showing appreciation. Simple stuff, noticing their effort, thanking them, pointing out their good qualities. It builds their self-worth and strengthens that bond.
It's those small everyday things that add up.
Absolutely. Not grand gestures necessarily, but consistent small acts of love and attention.
Yeah.
That builds the trust.
Okay. So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive here, looking back at everything from this source, the screens, the self-esteem, teenagers, the hacks, the stories, the relationships, what are the main threads we should pull out?
Well, if you step back, a few things keep coming up, right? Setting those thoughtful boundaries with tech is vital, but just as vital is nurturing their inner world, that self-esteem piece.
Right. Inside and outside.
Exactly. And for teens, it's really about empathy and listening.
Yeah.
The hacks are useful, sure, but understanding the need behind the behavior is maybe more powerful. And remembering we're not alone, sharing those stories helps. But ultimately, it all seems to come back to building those strong, loving relationships through intentional effort. That's the foundation.
Yeah, it feels like a really solid takeaway. So for everyone listening, as you think about all this screen time, self-image, teens, tantrums, connection, maybe just pause for a second. Which part of this conversation really hit home for you? Where are you feeling the challenges most right now?
Yeah, what resonated?
And maybe think about one small thing. Just one little step you could try this week based on something we talked about. It doesn't have to be huge, just one small shift. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.